Okay, we're back doing a review for Math 056. This is the second unit for that math level, 056, and we're calling it Unit 7/7.5. Right, this is number 6 for this set. We're going to solve the equation for the given variable. And if your answer is a fraction, write it in reduced fractional form. Do not convert the answer to a decimal. So this may be an attempt to not have you use a calculator, or they just don't want you, they want you to enter it as a fraction if you end up with a fraction. So let's take a look at this. They're telling us 46 is equal to 50 minus 8 times 2 minus 5w. Okay, so already I'm seeing PEMDAS. These are a couple of keywords for you, and also distributive property. Distributive property is a fancy way of saying when you can't complete the operation in parentheses, we cannot subtract 5w from 2 without knowing what 5w is. So instead of trying to do the operation inside the parentheses, we go ahead and we distribute this number across both. And then maybe we can play with those numbers to get closer to our answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We've got 46 is equal to 50 minus 8 times 2, which is 16. And then 8 times negative 5w is negative 40w. Okay, so one thing we need to remember is that this negative, it's subtracting both of these, so this sign can be distributed over both of these. Okay, one way to avoid having to do this twice is to think of this 8 as a negative 8 because it's being subtracted. So negative 8 times 2 would give you negative 16, and negative 8 times negative 5 would give you positive 40w. So what I'm going to do is distribute this on over the 16 and the 40, negative 40, and we're going to get negative 16 plus 40w. Okay, so 46, oops, hang on. 46 is equal to 50 minus 16 plus 40w. Okay, so in the spirit of combining like terms, let's go with green, we are going to rewrite this as 46 is equal to 50 minus 16. Well, 50 minus 10 is 40, minus 6 more is 34. So 34 plus 40w. And now we're going to solve for w. Does everyone remember how to do that? We always want to use the inverse operation to solve. So if you need to, you can search for inverse operation at Khan. Inverses are like opposites, except we say inverse. Addition and subtraction are inverses of each other, and then multiplication and division are also inverses of each other. So what we want to do, we're trying to solve for w, and we're going to look out here what's happening on the periphery first, right? So right now, 34 is being added to that w. So we're going to subtract this, and we're going to subtract 34 from both sides. Here we end up with nothing, because 34 minus 34 is 0. And then we have 46 minus 34, so 6 minus 4 is 2, and 4 minus 3 is 1. We end up with 12, and 12 is equal to 40w. So our next step, right, we're still solving for w. We're looking for the inverse of that. And what's happening to the w right now? Right, it's being multiplied by 40. So we're going to divide by 40. Always use the inverse. And these two 40s will cancel each other out, leaving w. And that's going to be equal to 12 over 40. So here's the fraction. They don't want us to change into a decimal. But one thing we have to do before we can continue is reduce it, right? So what are some factors of 12? So you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. And one thing that's kind of cool, these factors are always in pairs. One thing that's not cool is oh, wow, it disappeared. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Okay. So those are all the factors of 12, and then we want the factors of 40. So you got 1, 2, 4, what else? 5, 8, 10, and 20, and I guess 40 if we wanted to go all the way up. So what we want to do is take the largest common factor. So I see there's a 4 here and a 4 here. 4 is the largest shared factor, so we're going to divide the top and the bottom by 4. And this is the same as dividing it by 1, right? Because 4 over 4 is the same as 1. And it doesn't change the value, but it changes how it looks. 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 40 divided by 4 is 10. So W is going to be equal to 3/10. If you wanted to prove this is accurate, this is the correct answer, you could substitute this 3/10 here. It's just black, it's bold. Let's put this up here where this W is. And if that statement is true, then your answer is correct. So let's try that just for fun. All right, 46 is equal to 50 minus 8 times 2 minus 5W. Now we know what W is, right? So we're going to substitute for this W. I'm just going to erase it very cleverly. And we're going to substitute 3/10 in there. So 5 times 3 over 10. All right? So according to PEMDAS, we should work inside the parentheses first. And inside the parentheses, we have 2 operations. What are they? Subtraction and multiplication, which is not explicitly written. You've got a 5 right next to something in parentheses. So let's do that. We're going to start with multiplication because PEMDAS, multiplication or division come before addition or subtraction. So 5 times 3/10 is going to give us 15/10. And we've got 2 minus that. And then 46 is equal to 50 minus 8 times that. So that's one step. Now we have to subtract 15/10 from 2. And in order to do that, we have to turn 2 into a fraction. So we can put 2 over 1. And that's the identity property of 1. You can divide or multiply any number by 1 and you end up with the same number. Okay, so we can divide 2 by 1 and it's still a 2, so we haven't changed the value. But now we need to have a denominator that's the same because always in math, when you add or subtract anything, something has to be similar, right? So when we were working on the other problems, the cubic problem, x cubes can only be subtracted from x cubes and x squareds can only be subtracted from x squareds and so on. So we have to take 2 over 1 and make that equal to something over 10. And so 2 over 1 is equal to 20 over 10. So now we can subtract 20 minus 15. 20/10 minus 15/10 is 5/10, which is equal to 1/2. So let's rewrite this and see what we got. 46 is equal to 50 minus 8 times 1/2. Okay. So what's negative 8 times 1/2? Let's pull up the paper a little bit. 8 times negative 8. So we could think of this as negative 8 or subtracting positive 8 times 1/2, however you want. If we go 8 times 1/2, we're going to get 4. And we're subtracting that from 50. Now, is that equal to 46? Yes. So when we evaluate 50 minus 4, we get 46. And then if you treat 8 as a negative number, you would just say 50, and then it's going to be combined with whatever the product of negative 8 and 1/2 is. And that's going to be negative 4. So you'll wind up in the same place. 46 is equal to 46, which means that we got the correct answer, that W is 3/10. And we won't reduce that. We're just going to put that in here. 3 over 10. Cross your fingers. Hey, we're doing quite well today. So what I'd like you to do is to try the same question, a similar question, and see how you do. And there it is. Good luck.